Hi, it's Graham Cox here, co-founder of OptiSurface and recently a new co-founder of AgZone, a social network for agriculture. I was chatting to my CMO recently about the adoption of AgZone and how it's going to take a lot longer than he thinks. And I recorded this video for him, but I thought it'd be relevant to other tech founders and people involved in startups. So this is a classic adoption curve. Diffusion of Innovation was a book, or it might have been a PhD thesis written by Everett Rogers, and he coined these terms of innovators, early adopters, early majority, laggards, late majority. The chasm was actually a term coined by Geoffrey Moore in another book. But these terms, which I think most of us have heard of, are basically defined. Everett Rogers was actually researched. This is the real interesting thing for AgTech founders, is Everett Rogers actually researched the adoption of corn hybrids by farmers in the Midwest of the USA. I think it was Iowa or Illinois. And he found that a seed variety, a particular seed variety, a new seed variety that was released, say, 1 year, would be slowly adopted in the first year by the innovators, and the next year it might be the early adopters, and then the next year it could be the early majority, and then whatever. So, but it could take 5 years. If these are years, it might take 5 years for a really useful new corn hybrid to be adopted. And you think, well, why doesn't everyone just adopt it in year one? Well, it doesn't happen like that. It's just like why not everyone buys an iPhone on day one. It happens over years. Now, depending on how complex the technology is and how expensive it is to test and buy and whatever, this adoption curve can actually take decades or centuries. Now, if it's a free product that's easily used and tested, like signing up to a social network, Facebook say, then even that, the adoption curve can still take a long time. So I know Facebook started in 2004 or something. If you look at its adoption in the US, I don't know, it's probably definitely past here, but that's taken 20 years or so to be adopted. If you look at the world, it's going to take longer. So it's going to take at least maybe 50 years for it to be more highly adopted. So around the world. So this curve changes depending on the geographical extent that you're looking at. It gets longer, but even in a local area, it can still take decades. And my first AgTech startup was OptiSurface. We help farmers move earth on their fields to get it to the water to flow better, to drain better, and reduce erosion and things like that. It's quite a complex adoption curve, a long adoption curve, because you've got to buy so much equipment. You've got to buy the right tractor. If you don't have it already, you've got to buy a tow-behind scraper. You've got to buy the GPS equipment that you use to control the scraper and survey the field. So it's a long adoption curve. And that's why, even though we started OptiSurface back in, actually we had the idea, my co-founder, David Cox, had the idea back in mid-1990s, and 1995 type of thing. He actually sits out here on the curve, way out the front, and we didn't start developing it till about 13 years ago. If we did here, we probably would have closed up shop a lot earlier. Even here, almost closed up shop. But I still think this adoption curve for us, each one of these segments is probably at least 10 years. So I'm saying 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years for this to get adopted, and that could only be maybe in developed countries. In undeveloped countries, it might take another 50 or 100 years. I don't know. It's just, that's how long these things take. So for OptiSurface, we're still around here, maybe. I still think we're in this point here, maybe 10 years in. We're about 13 years in now when we actually release the product here. And then we're probably in here, maybe you could say in certain geographical extents of the world. But globally, we're probably still back here. So these numbers here are actually percents. If you haven't seen this before, percent. So this is 2.5% of the population are called innovators. They'll adopt anything because it's new and looks interesting, and can help them. But these guys need a bit more. The early adopters, they're a bit more pragmatic and need a bit more return on investment. And then you get to the crossing the chasm, which a lot of companies fall into and they can't jump across this chasm. That's what the whole book, Crossing the Chasm, is about. And then, but this is where, as a tech business, or sorry, any business, startup business, this is where you make most of the money. This period here. So, OptiService, I think we're still back here, right? And we've been going along all right. We've been generating it's been a good business, but I still think we have to go at least another 10 years before we jump into the early majority. And that's where you get a lot more, if these are 10-year chunks, right, we're going to take 20 years to get 16% of the population adopting it. And then in 10 years, we're going to get twice that, right? So 4 times the adoption rate in this period here. And this goes for any technology, this curve. Now, so my CMO's out there talking to people about AgZone and looking to get them to sign up. And he's saying that not many are signing up. They say it's a great idea, but not many are signing up. And that's a classic customer discovery problem for startups, is that a lot of people say, yeah, it's a great idea to your face, but they're not in this, they're not these innovators. He's speaking to, 100 people, say, and only 2.5 might sign up. Now, a lot more might say it's a good idea, but they're not going to sign up until they see 2.5% sign up. Until they see their friends sign up and their friends recommend it to them and they see some value from it. They're just, it takes all sorts of people in this world to make this world successful. And not that these people aren't, they're not, well, these are the definition of laggards, but these people just take a bit more, they just want a bit more return on investment. Now, to demonstrate this adoption curve in real time, in a few minutes, I want to show you a great video on YouTube. And what it is this guy here dancing by himself, right? He's actually out the front here. He's one out of, I don't know, pre-innovator, right? And then the second guy comes along and, he's this guy. He's one guy in here. And this guy says, yeah, thanks for coming, buddy. Has a bit of interaction with him. And then so they start dancing really weirdly. Alright, so here we are, we're 39 seconds, 40 seconds in. We've still only got 2 people. So we're still only early days. In fact, you could probably say, yeah, we're at the front here. Okay, third one. Let's come along. And these other guys thinking these guys are weird, I'm not getting up there. They're looking over thinking, that's pretty weird dancing. And here we go, we got 2 more, so we're up to 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay, so that's I'd say that 5 is these guys here, right? That's the innovators. They've come along, and then the next guys, okay, the early adopters are the other guys that came in, so now we're up to, like 25. Maybe not even, the early adopters are coming now. Okay, they're coming around. Oh yeah, I went in. I'm an early adopter. I'm coming in. Right, there's a few people coming in here and there, yep, so. Righto. So we might be up to 16% of the population maybe, so yeah, maybe here. And then you watch this, the early majority, oh yeah, it's starting to, yeah, everyone's getting up. Yeah, right, they're just streaming in now. We're into the early majority. Okay, yeah, it's getting a bit serious now. And then these other guys are thinking, okay, we're starting to become a minority. So these are the late majorities. They're thinking, oh, we better join in just to make sure we are part of the crowd. Okay, so yep, they're coming in. And these other guys are coming in from further away maybe. And that could be like someone adopting the technology from, a less developed country or whatever. It's a bit harder for them to get there. they're coming in. So yeah, now we're coming in the late majority. Sorry, the latter part of the late majority. And then there's these other guys here, laggards, probably these guys, that they're still not quite there. And then they're thinking, oh, we're the only ones left sitting. We better join in, maybe. Oh, come on. Yeah, righto. Hesitantly, yeah, stands up, yep. Better stand up and be part of the crowd. So, in conclusion, don't get frustrated when you're starting out. Adoption is very slow, but it does grow, and you basically have to survive long enough to be profitable. And sometimes ideas just aren't a good idea and you have to give up on them. Your main goal in the early days is to learn about what people want and try to deliver it to them. Okay, hope that was useful. Put some comments below or let us know what you think. Thanks for your time. Bye.